Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a free training for those of you who are interested in Simplify to learn a little bit more about the course. I am going to give you a little sneak peek into the course, but first, I would like to talk a little bit about my process of creating this course and why it might be relevant for you. This course is a very carefully curated collection of influences from so many parts of my life and education. I'm 52 now. I've been working on this course since I was about 40. 45 in earnest was when the category started coming to my mind. Right around 48 was when I started to do Post-its all over my walls with the contents of the course. And 49 was when it first came to fruition. That was 3 years ago before the pandemic. And then this course looked quite different. It was video-based. It didn't have nearly the sensitivity and the care and the consideration that we have now. Now this course is an audio-based podcast-style course so that you can listen in your ears wherever you go, and I found that so many of us do. There are 6 modules, and each one of the 6 modules has a different trajectory, but each one has remembrances and tools and sort of spirit components and also really practical, nuanced information that will help you create the days that you want to be living. I just want to check and see that everything is cool. If you want to come into the chat and let me know where you're coming from, that would be wonderful. I'm going to open up the chat to everyone now. And please feel free to jump in. Like I said, I will show you the course in just a moment, but I would like to, NYC, Paula, hi sister, wonderful. I would like to just go through a few of the sort of main thrusts of what this course is. For all of us, establishing a smooth flow to the day is crucial. And for most of us, it's really hard to do that. Most of us, we wake up in the morning, we're sort of reacting to everything that's happening. This one is sick. This one feels great. This one needs lunch. This one doesn't have school today for some reason. This friend of yours is really suffering. This friend of yours is having such a victory that you feel kind of sad about it and envious. All of these layers and nuances that create a life of reactivity. This is the thing that I'm addressing here in this course. I can't say enough how important it is for you to create a day that has meaning, clarity, care for yourself and for others, richness, steadiness. And doing that requires a practice. I'm not saying you need to have a meditation practice or a yoga practice, although both will benefit you greatly. But I am saying to have a practice of structuring yourself so that you can have the optimal chance for your creativity to flourish. That's what I'm talking about. And over these many years, this course has obviously evolved. Once you take the course once, it's yours forever. So there are many people here today who took it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and they were so tickled. I got so many emails in the last 2 days, so tickled that they have access again and they don't have to do anything else. The course will just be available to them in the portal. And thank you to those of you who are here that have taken the course before. I look forward to sharing more time with you. Along with those 6 modules, you'll have 3 live gatherings with me. I look forward to those deeply as well, in which I will bring to you other influences and other complementary information that will help you to navigate these 6 modules with ease. I want to talk to you if you are a creator. This course will help you structure yourself and really create a level of respect for your work and fit it in. Design your days around that creative time, creative space in a way that you probably haven't yet. So I'm really excited for you for that. If you're a householder, you're going to find tools to, as I said at the very beginning, cultivate the smooth, easeful flow of your day, where all the things that you really want to do are included, not left for tomorrow or some other future perfect moment, so that you have days that you're kind of dreaming about, days that really inspire you, excite you, get you out of bed in the morning easily. No more snoozing. You might not even need an alarm when you're done with this course. So let's go through the modules. I really want to show this to you, and I also want to acknowledge all the folks in from Austin and Jersey and Vienna and Brooklyn and Toronto and Cape Cod and San Antonio and Athens, High Sweetness, France, England. Wonderful. Another one from Athens, Amelia, beautiful, Massachusetts. Thank you so much for being here. I feel so in the pocket, in community with you all. It feels so good to me to see you. Italy, Miami. All right, I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to go right in to the course. Here I go. All right, friends. So let's go back to the library. I want you to see what it looks like in the library of Elena Brower courses. I love it here. When you see a rectangle, that means it's a course. When you see a square, that's a podcast. So for all of my courses that are currently running, Simplify, Engage, Mentorship, even Perceptive Parenting and Cultivating Spiritual Intelligence too, and a couple more, you have a podcast feed. So yes, you can listen on your laptop, but you can also listen on your way. So let's go ahead and view the laptop program. And I see there's a couple of Q&As coming in, and we'll have plenty of time for that. I'm going to be really fast here. So here's the welcome. Probably a really dorky video from me. Here we are. Okay. Here are your live calls and the links to join each live call. So this is on the homepage when you log in to your course. Okay. You want to download the welcome guidebook right away. This is important. And when you click that, you get the guidebook that will prepare you for all the course. Okay. These are quick and dirty prompts for each one of the modules. Journal exercise for each one. Structure, freedom. I'll show you each one in a moment. Design, awareness, fluency, and bravery. These are just ways to get you sort of oriented to the modules and to what I'm going to be presenting and asking of you in each one. You'll be able to submit your questions here. So if you have questions that you would like me to answer in our live gatherings, that's where to do it, right there. If you have a support question, you forget your password, if you have a contact question that you want to send along, this is the best way to do it in support right here. Okay. And then because Michelle Martello, my collaborator, business partner in so many ways, is so smart. She has this beautiful button where you can add all of the events to your calendar. Boom, boom, boom. And it'll ask you which calendar you use. And it's just kind of awesome when tech works. Okay, let's look at module 1, structure. And I'll talk about sort of the meaning and value of each one as we go. Observing yourself, and this is where we have to start. Locating all of the patterns that you've created and automated in your life, and then beginning to choose new ones to automate. It's so cool. It's so much easier than you think, I promise. There are some energetic practices and meditations throughout this course. I'm very proud of the work that I've done here, revamping it and redesigning it for our ears and for these times. The meditations will really be helpful, and I would ask that you would go back to them many, many times, as much as you need. In module 2, which is freedom, And keep in mind too, that we'll open these modules on these particular dates. March 27th is when module 1 will open, April 3rd, module 2, so that we're all kind of together and discovering the content together, which I feel, and also Michelle feels too, is really important. We're going to learn about self-empathy. I just wrote a Substack about this today called On Talking to Yourself. That's really good for this. Safely expanding. Think about that, what that means to you, and a meditation on self-empathy that should be very helpful. In the design module, you'll find out how to design your attitude, your ecosystem, sort of the world, the environment with which you are surrounding yourself, and your sustenance, what feeds you, what lights you up, what keeps you going. How can you keep those influences closer by? Module 4 is all about awareness, creating for your resilience. What does that mean? What does resilience actually mean in your life right now? What are the skills and the fortitudes that you need to feel resilient right now? Not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now. Your unique ability, we're going to spend some time diving into exactly what it is that you thrive doing. And finally, choosing your state, which should seem super obvious and easy, but does require practice, coordination, again, care, and a real sense of respect for yourself. And finally, module 5 and 6. Let's go to fluency first, which is where, you know, the first 4 modules kind of lead in this direction. Fluency couldn't come any sooner in this course. It's really a continuum. And to know that you aren't missing anything, you've never been broken. You've never actually done anything wrong. The integration of the mistakes that you've made is knowing that fluency is this continuum of understanding and acknowledging yourself and your efforts. I really love this, this particular module. Lesson 2 is open space, vast mind. I'll let that speak for itself. And then there's a meditation for stabilizing your attention. As I said previously, lots of influences in here. Some of the wisest people I know on the planet right now have had a big hand in what I understand and what's coming through here. And finally, module 6, bravery. A surprising take on bravery. It's not going to be what you think. It's not going to be about you, running out, do the thing that you should be doing. Like, that was cool in 2019. It was okay. It was even true. And to some extent, there is truth in it, but really, bravery has to do now with your capacity to choose quiet, to choose rest, to choose stillness, so that the ways in which you show up in the world and the ideas with which you show up in the world are actually steeped in meaning and reality for you. And we'll have a meditation on full engagement at the end of that module. I'll just give you a look into lesson 1. Let's go. And just so you can see, in every one of these lessons, you're going to have a little bit of a synopsis there for you. And you have the audio. You have the length of the audio, so you know exactly what you're getting into. I tried to keep each one of these audios to, roughly 15 to 25 minutes, about the length of time that you need to wash a dish. I'm just going through a few of them now. Okay. So it's pretty robust, and it's also really easy to get through. So you're never going to feel overwhelmed by this excursion into simplification, and you're always going to feel kind of held. You have the opportunity beneath every single module to comment. So I love seeing your comments. I read them all, and typically I respond to them all. Those of you who are in mentorship, you know, I really read every comment. And I know that some of the first questions will be, how on God's green earth do you get to do all of that? And the truth is, it means a lot to me to keep this personal and connected. So I take that time. That's a part of the time that makes my day meaningful for me. So you'll see me showing up a lot. Michelle has definitely outdone herself. Again, Sabrina and Julia from Côte d'Azur, you guys need to connect. So Julie and Sabrina, go look for each other and see where you are. Sabrina Kapler and Julie from Côte d'Azur, you guys can connect. We have a couple of Q&As. Do I understand correctly that we can take our time and return to the portal whenever we wish? Yes, you understand correctly. Elizabeth, my intention is to keep this material alive for you until I reconfigure it. And as you've seen, once I reconfigure it again, you will still have access to the evolved content. Okay, anyone who's taken Simplify ever since the beginning, and we're going back many years, has access to Simplify ongoing. You do not have to pay again. You do not have to register again. You will receive an email that your content is ready for you in the course portal. Some people have reached out and said, you are crazy for doing that. And I say, that kind of care for the people who have supported my work since the beginning is not crazy. That's very smart. And I would encourage you to take that as a possible inspiration for your own work. I would love to hear Bryony, Paula, thank you. Nadia, Charlotte, je t'embrasse. Leah, wonderful. Any questions? I would like to spend some time with your questions. You can put them in the chat. Hi, Belle. Nice to see you, sister. You can put them in the Q&A, wherever you like. I am here awaiting your questions. Thank you, Mary. Yeah, sure, you could call it generous, but I think it's really smart. I love you people. I have such deep appreciation for the presence that you have shown me in my work for all these years. That is the least I could do. Wonderful. Try to make all your creative work where you're able as a pay what you can. That's very nice, Elizabeth. Yes. Options for creatives. I'm not sure that I understand your question, Garnet. I'm seeing that you are sending a chat to host and panelists. Tell me more about your question. Sabrina and Julia, you found each other, I think. Wonderful. Any questions at all? I promised myself this will be 30 minutes and we have 10 minutes left. Something else for creative? No, within this course, Garnet, for creatives, you have an entire litany of inspirations, ideas, prompts for your creativity. Each one of those modules comes with a guidebook. So as I'm taking you through the course in your ears, you follow along with the guidebook. Michelle and I have spent a great deal of time making sure that the guidebooks jive with the audio in a way that will serve you and serve your work, your creative work. All live calls. Yes, Michelle is guessing. Wonderful. Garnet, any other questions? You tell me. Charlotte, what is the major difference between the old version and this one? So I'm not sure if you were on at the beginning. I started with that, and I'll repeat myself again for those who didn't hear. The old version of Simplify was recorded in 2018 and 19. Need I say more? There were so many lapses, from this vantage point now, I perceive so many lapses of understanding in my consciousness and in that content. That was video based. I find audio to be so much more conducive to my learning. I hope the same is true for you. And there's a lot more relevant, timely sensitivity in this content that I think you'll find really helpful for whatever it is that you're doing next. The other questions, Chrissa, this course will be available in the future if we can't buy it now. Just email me and I'll figure it out with you. Okay, it'll be available until March 24th. And the cost is on the sales page. You can go right now. You have two options: to pay all at once or to pay in two parts. So that's exciting. Nadia, wonderful. Sabrina, leaving her phone number for you. Julia. Erica from the UK, wonderful to see you. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Eartha, yes. And this course integrates with Engaged Mentorship in a really beautiful way. What's fascinating about this is that this is kind of the source material that gave birth to Engaged Mentorship. The people that do both have reported. I actually just got a testimonial in 2 days ago. She said, Simplify completely changed the way she ran her business and her home. And Engaged Mentorship is the way that she continues to fortify that understanding. Literally, her words, not mine. So I think that answers your question, Pam. If you have any more granular questions, please put them into the chat. Oh, good. Okay. Belle, you want to join the mentorship, but you're also drawn to this program. I would say do this program first. See if you like the style of it. Mentorship is very similar. It's a very different vibration in sort of the way in which mentorship is delivered. Mentorship is a monthly live gathering, a beautiful, very robust guidebook to go along. So there's similarities in that way. Mentorship also has a whole library of all these other video teachings, guest experts, foundational teachings for business, for home, even some really great content for yoga teachers. So they have similarities, but they are very, very different. Charlotte, thank you for that. You agree with that testimonial. Beautiful. Okay, wonderful. Anything else that I can do? Those of you who are on my Essential Practice team, those of you who are already engaged in mentorship, you have a special code. That email will be sent to you, and you can check your inbox for that code. Okay. Any other questions? We're coming up on my time here. I don't want to keep you for too long. Any other questions? Oh, we have Q&A. I'm going into the Q&A. Note to selves. James has just arrived back home, and he might come in saying, "Whoa," he doesn't know that I'm live. So here we go. What do you think is the amount of time commitment for each course? So the module, each one of the modules is, let's see, all told, each lesson is probably 15 or 16 minutes, I would say. And you want to devote maybe an hour to listening, let's say, and maybe an hour to re-listening and going through the guidebook a second time. That's how I work with it. And that's my sort of barometer. That's a great question, Catherine. Thank you for that. So that one's answered. Natalie, curious why you decided to go for the podcast format. So I mentioned this previously, and I'm sorry that you weren't here for it, Nat, but I learn better in my ears when I'm not so distracted by what's in front of me. That's just me. I asked a bunch of friends, people from all different walks of life, and I asked them how they learn best. And a lot of them said they really learn best from podcasts. So I just went with that. And yes, I do have a poem or a reading to share, Nadia, a sweet one. I'm going to get it. So that's been answered, I hope, Natalie. Interested in reclaiming your creativity? Yes, Catherine. Bella answered your question in the chat. This program is online. Like if you took Simplify in the last few years, you've had ongoing access. So it doesn't get taken down until I evolve the course. Okay. I like it when I can go back to things a year later or 2 years later. So I want to give you that too. Jennifer, financial assistance or scholarship opportunities? Yes, my love. Please send me an email, info@elenabrower.com. Money should not stop you. I do have a code. If this is really a very challenging time for you, I have a code for you, and I'm glad to share it. Please reach out to me and let me know just a little bit about what's happening, and I'll be there to answer and consider for sure. Okay, those are done. Nice. Mark, wonderful. I'm so glad to see you here. And Nadia, learning something new every time you revisit. Beautiful. I want to think about a good reading for you. All right, I've got one. I set this aside just in case. I wanted to share it with you, and I do. All right. As you probably know, if you've known me before, and those of you who don't, now you're knowing, I am a curator of influences and information. It is my great honor in this world to be surrounded by people who are so smart and so tapped in deep states of practice and study, and to learn with, alongside, and from them has been, I would say, the greatest honor of my life. One of those people is a man by the name of Diego Perez, and he goes by the pen name Young Pueblo, and he and I have been friends for many years. He has also a Substack blog, and if you haven't seen mine, you better get in there to go see it. I'm going to put it into the chat right now because you have to see it, and you'll see that I recommend his as well. Hold the line, please. No better than to try and do two things at once. Okay, there you are. Yeah, Jennifer, Roshi Joan is totally the one. And Garnet just signed up. Thank you. Garnet, honored to have you in there. Diego Perez, Young Pueblo. He writes beautiful love notes on Substack as well that I often read, often print, rather. I always read and I often print. And you'll find me often referencing them as we go through the course, especially in our live gatherings. So here we go. Nadia, you ready for this? If you want a good life, he recently said, and I'm going to paraphrase some of this. There are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points that I'm going to share with you. All of them are touched upon in Simplify. All of them will impact your life in a beautiful way if you incorporate them into your practices. If you want a good life, focus on doing good actions as selflessly as possible. Bodhicitta, the people you help, the things you give, the kindness you emit, all of these are seeds that will bear good in the future. Okay. Anytime you're feeling particularly at odds with yourself or with someone else, just focus on doing good actions as selflessly as possible. Here's 2. And this is important, and this is exactly in keeping with the very first module in Simplify, which we'll see very soon. Say no frequently if you want to create a clear space in your life for what matters most to you. Giving away so much of your time to the requests of others will stop you from giving time to what is good and nourishing for you. Okay, that is the entirety of module 1, and we get into it in super granular ways that will be so helpful to you. I get so excited to share this first module. And he goes on to say that betraying yourself is not virtuous. And we were, most of us, if I'm not mistaken, if I may, raised by people who were raised to feel that betraying themselves in favor of helping and being of service to others was virtuous. There is instead, as we will explore in the course, a balance between the service that you give and the way you hold yourself. Thirdly, your energy leaves an imprint on the environment in which you find yourself. Remember that. He was referencing his time traveling around in India and Nepal and meditating in places where people have meditated for years, thousands of eons. Your energy leaves an imprint. Remember this. So does everyone else's. And we'll talk about that more in the course too. He says, real healing is possible, but so is real freedom. Suffering is not eternal. And with the right practices, you can slowly but surely, so important, decrease the tension that exists in your mind. Many of which you'll find in this course, these practices that decrease the tension in your mind. Fifth, you don't have to be perfect to make tremendous progress. Nadia, that's for you. If you are reacting less intensely than before, if your mind feels lighter, if you are making better choices, you are moving in the right direction. You don't have to be perfect. I want to say this part again. If you're reacting less intensely than before, you're on the path. Everything requires balance. Let boldness mix with gentleness. Let your giving match your receiving. This is sort of the how-to do of the no betraying yourself, no martyring yourself. That's the how-to. Find the balance. Let your striving match your relaxation. Last two, be more intentional about looking around with fresh eyes. We will talk about this too as we go through this course together. Fresh eyes, guys. Fresh eyes, because as he says, it is exceedingly easy to take for granted the things with which you are surrounded on a daily basis, your family, the food you eat, your daily comforts. But once they're gone, and you see how much you've relied on it and you've expected things to stay the same. We're going to talk about change a lot in this course and how to get really comfortable with it. And finally, and most importantly, we'll touch on this too, I think in module 2, be very aware of the story that you are concocting in your mind. Be very aware of the narrative that you are repeating over and over. Is it factual? Or is it driven by temporary tumult in your emotional state? Is it factual, or is it driven by this tremor in your nervous system? Such an important question to ask. So sweet, Nadia, that's where I'm going to leave you for today. Thank you very much. That was a great, very sweet feeling inside of my heart right now. I feel like we have something very special here. I so look forward to sharing the time with you. Any questions at all, please reach out to me, info@elenabrower.com. I am here and present and grateful. And Michelle Martello, thank you very, very much for all you do. Gracias. So thank you. Thank you very much. See you soon. See you in the course. Sales page. Let me put it in. Here you go, Leah. Of course, Michelle beat me to it. She always beats me to it. There she goes. You can also type elenabrower.com/simplify and get right there. Thank you for your time, Belle. Amelia, Leah, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Au revoir for now.